All right. I have a little bit of a show for you today. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is just like watching the top 5 suggested videos in my live stream for YouTube and live streaming them back to you and like reacting to them and like being cool and just chilling and like chatting and whatever else y'all want to talk about, whatever else y'all want to do, I'm up for it. So yeah, let's not hesitate. Let's get right to it. All right, so oh no, the first thing that comes up is automatically like a true crime vid. It's one of the ones I'm really into, so let's pull that one up. It's on Laci Peterson. So can I actually get that one going here in just a sec? This is actually
Hey, what is up, everybody?
Welcome back to Mile Higher Podcast, episode 129.
the
Today
Mile
we
Higher
are doing
podcast.
the Scott
One of my
and
favorite podcasts.
Laci Peterson case, which we decided to cover because there's been some huge news in this case. Scott Peterson's death sentence.
Let me actually turn that shit down real quick. That shit is super duper loud. At least in my ears it is.
Yeah, it's huge news.
Yeah,
This is
and a lot of mixed opinions on that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
This is a very controversial case. There's a lot of people that think he did it. There's a lot of people that don't. We're going to dive into the whole thing, and we're going to give you our thoughts and opinions on it, because I think we have some different thoughts and opinions about this case. So I'm very excited to cover this, and it's just one of those cases that will leave you kind of, I don't know, dumbfounded at the end, just in general. Like, you just really don't know.
Really wanting answers.
Yeah,
it's just one of those,
absolutely.
like, you're just like, oh, I wish I knew what happened so bad.
No, it's definitely one of those cases. So that is what we're covering today, but we also got a few news topics that are very, very important that we need to cover as well. But also I wanted to thank our sponsors for today, Stamps.com and Candid. It's rough times out here on YouTube especially, so unfortunately they don't like a lot of they literally can do what they want on those bases. It's like they have their own little government there.
Yeah.
They have their own police, they have their own situation.
That seems what came forward with what was happening to her.
That's how we pay employees. It's like
Really nuts.
we're like Janelle, what the hell? What'd you put in there?
Yeah, we
Well,
were like,
sorry,
what did
guys.
you edit in?
Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly crazy. I try and very
Especially so. Unfortunately, they don't like a lot of our content, so
they don't seem to like us.
yeah. This is a very controversial case. There's a lot of people that think he did it. There's a lot of people that don't. We're going to dive into the whole thing, and we're going to give you our thoughts and opinions on it, because I think we have some different thoughts and opinions about this
Okay, I guess
case.
we're gonna
So
chill through the
I'm
ad,
very
the one
excited
ad.
to cover this, and it's just one of those cases that will
Chilling
leave
through
you
the one ad.
kind of, I don't know, dumbfounded at the end, just in general. Like, you just really don't know.
Really wanting answers.
Yeah,
It's just one of those,
absolutely.
like, you're just like, oh, I wish I knew what happened so bad.
Let me know if you can hear me.
It's definitely
If you're
one
out
of
there.
those cases. So
I'm the
that is
only
what we're
person
covering
watching.
today, but we also got a few news topics that are very, very important that we need to cover as well. But also, I wanted to thank our sponsors for today,
Mic
Stamps.com
check.
and Candid. Friends out here
Okay.
on YouTube
I'm recording, I
especially,
can
so,
tell.
Unfortunately, they don't like a lot of our content, so
They don't seem to like us
yeah.
in general.
YouTube has been
Personally, it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's-
Even our new
YouTube has
podcast,
been
Angels
cracking down for
Sesh,
sure.
if you haven't heard it yet, we have 4
For sure, they've been cracking down. They shut down one of my videos. They got rid of it.
episodes out now, and 3 out of the 4, including our trailer, are already demonetized.
Literally,
and they're
why?
very, like,
They should not
very
be getting
personal.
demonetized.
Yeah, there's no reason. They're really light listening.
Yeah,
Should
very sad.
not be demonetized.
yeah, not only that, on
It is
our
really personal.
some of our recent episodes, like MK Ultra and stuff, they came back and said there was like all this wild stuff in there that wasn't
Yeah.
in there. And we're
Yeah,
like,
guys, they said there was nudity in it.
yeah, adult content, and I was like, what?
Absolutely not.
We were like, Janelle, what the hell? What'd you put in there?
Yeah, we
Well,
were like,
sorry,
what did
guys.
you edit in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's honestly think about when I'm editing the podcast, like, oh, would this slide, would this not?
Yeah.
But then, of course, you know, you never know. Some things that shouldn't be going through are fine, and then some
Yeah.
things that should, you know, be monetized are not at all. They're totally flat. It's
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah,
It's like
for
you could never
Aw.
tell.
Josh has had several episodes on Lights Out that we thought for sure were going to
Yeah.
get demonetized, and they haven't.
And they
Like,
got
Lights Out has done fairly
Yeah.
well with that.
yeah, and like we've had
They
some that
see,
I
they're
thought
shutting
for
me down
sure
already,
after being
bastards.
deconfirmed, not
Hold on.
advertiser friendly, and then they got flipped green. I was like, okay, this
The
is
system
clear.
is so messed up.
What is going on? What do they have? A bunch of monkeys running the review
Seriously.
system over there at
Honestly,
YouTube?
it's starting to feel that way. And just so you know, we're not just complaining about it because we don't have ads, like whatever. We have our own sponsors, and that gives us the freedom to say whatever we want. But at the same time, it really limits our content. It severely limits how many people it gets out to. Like, about half the views will come in on demonetized content.
Yeah.
So it's very just disheartening and frustrating.
Yeah, and like YouTube is a huge part of our show. Like,
Mhm.
you know, we started on YouTube, and that's where, you know, obviously with podcasts, you know, a lot of you just listen to it, but we also have a lot of people that only watch it on YouTube as well. So,
I personally love watching podcasts, so that's why I wanted to offer a visual version, but it's really disheartening that this platform just like is so censoring to the point where, I mean, our last episode on the session was demonetized. It was about school and our
Yeah.
our experiences with school. It's just ridiculous. So we really hope that Spotify ends up
Yeah,
doing
we
video
hope.
hosting.
yeah, I hope there's going to be a new platform that has some sort of monetization
Yeah.
built into it. Because
Gosh.
to be totally transparent, that's like a huge part of our, you know, company's revenue. That's how we pay employees. It's like
Yeah.
that's a big deal to us if our content is being censored and demonetized. So, and you know, we're not the only ones out there that are dealing with this, but it's
really
just it's
frustrating.
impacted us heavily, and it's just really annoying. And yeah, they gotta figure it out because it's just getting ridiculous at this point.
I'm
But
sure this one will be monetized as well.
probably.
What can you do? I try not to get too upset about it after a while.
Yeah, I'm over here. Like,
Hopefully, though,
I
it's
know our
alright.
podcast is getting demonetized. She's like, yeah,
Sorry,
welcome to
guys.
YouTube channel.
My-
I gotta keep
that's
changing
fine.
it up.
It's just been, it's slowly gotten worse and worse and worse.
Just trying to figure out who's here
Yeah, I
for
just wish they would take a different approach to
For
advertising
me
and things like that. Like
versus who's here to troll.
It has tons of content that's advertised and stuff.
Oh, I know. Yeah, there's a whole network for crime content on TV. With
I mean,
plenty of
it's
advertisers
okay,
doing
like,
just
if you're here
fine.
to troll,
Yeah,
It's
but-
just
no
ridiculous.
sense.
People aren't babies. They can
it's
see
better
it,
if
they
you're
can
here
decide
for
what they
the
wanna
real
see,
content, so.
make their own decisions. It's just
Alright,
ridiculous.
whatever.
Well, then they, like,
Anyway,
yeah.
we'll start. We need to
We
stop.
could go on and on about this all day, but let's just go ahead and jump right into the first news story. So there was unfortunately another Fort Hood soldier who was found deceased. Sergeant Elder Fernandez. He had actually been missing for more than a week before he was actually found dead, hanging from a tree last Tuesday, August 25th.
Really scary and upsetting.
So this comes after, you know, Vanessa Guillen and that whole thing. So we're starting to wonder what's going on at Fort Hood, because clearly there's
So if Vanessa Guillen was found first, she was found dead off base, but she was stationed on Fort Hood. And several other people have been found around Fort Hood dead as well. Several other soldiers. So yeah, this is another on top of Vanessa Guillen, soldier that was found dead around Fort Hood.
some issues there, and as we dig deeper into Elder's life and his experience at the base, it seems like there's some serious misconduct coming from superior officers and people that are supposed to be in charge, whether it's sexual assault or harassment. All of these sort of factors, I believe, led to Elder Fernandez committing suicide, taking his own life. So
Yeah, it sounds like he was being harassed. It sounds like he didn't have anyone to go to, which is the same thing Vanessa was worried that if she came forward with what was happening to her, that she would just be punished. She said she knew tons of other people that had happened to. I think the culture is just extremely messed up there. And I don't know why Fort Hood is having so many incidents, but clearly someone needs to investigate that, and an investigation needs to be done.
yeah, that's definitely a good place to start. And I wonder, I mean, I'm not really familiar with how the military works specifically, but it seems like they almost need like an HR department, like at these bases, or like some type of safe
Yeah.
place that soldiers can go to complain about superiors. Because if the only way that you can deal with harassment or somebody doing something to you is to go to a person above you, well, you know, go to your boss. That'd be like going to your boss and saying, hey, like, you know, I'm being
What if they're the
harassed
one
by
harassing
you.
you? Yeah, right.
Or you go to your boss's boss.
Well, that's what Vanessa's family is trying to fight for with the I Am Vanessa Guillen bill, is for soldiers to have a place to report that type of stuff to a third party that is unbiased, so that way they can feel safe and something can actually be done about it.
Right. So an
Because-
investigation is conducted.
Yeah.
Because at most companies, most corporations, if you have a complaint about a superior, you can call the 1-800 number for them or email.
That's the idea, but
maybe-
that's not always.
That's true. The chain of command in the military is all fucked up. You don't really have someone to go to make a complaint. Otherwise, you're seen as a tattletale. Otherwise, you're seen as a traitor. So yeah, something around those lines needs to change a little bit.
That's how it is.
Yeah,
HR
no, I
is
know.
extremely corrupt as it is
I
too.
know. But in some places it does work. For example, when I worked at Best Buy, they had a very good system, and it was one of the things they told you like day one was like, if you ever have any problems with anybody, this is the number you call. We take this very seriously. And I saw incidents where, you know, people went that avenue, and you know, whether supervisors or managers got reprimanded for things that they were doing, because I think when, you know, superiors or managers feel like nobody's watching them, or their boss doesn't care, or their boss is in on it too, then there's no accountability.
Yeah, they feel like they have some type of power.
And it's especially sad when you have people that are literally serving their country and they are at risk for all these things when they
We've got to have accountability at all times, in all sides, from all directions.
really shouldn't be, because they should be safe. It should be a safe place.
You shouldn't be worried about being harassed at your
Yeah.
job to the point where you're going to commit suicide.
right. But
Do we even know that's for sure what happened? I mean, there's been so many suicides this year, suicides that have been hangings, and I question a lot of them.
yeah, well, apparently the Temple police say they do not.
All right.
suspect-
Well, I don't know how much of that video I can actually play, but there you go. You get the gist of it there. Let's go to like a little bit of a different thing. I know that they're supposed to be streaming the protest later, but I'm not sure what time.
But when I read that, I said, that is my that. So going back to
There is why I will never see them let it happen. Because it's the ultimate play about a banger.
I don't know about you, but I really don't give two shits about Hamilton personally. It might sound selfish, but I just don't.
Possible, and so that voters have confidence that their vote matters and will count. Civil Rights Division.
This seems to be a very significant issue because of the President of the United States in this moment, making it seem as though this election is going to somehow be uniquely different because of mail-in ballots. But you've written extensively about how mail-in ballots, we shouldn't expect any significant increase in any type of fraud of any type through mail-in ballots. Tell us about the reality versus the specter that Donald Trump is casting.
So first of all, the election will be different this year, and it's not because of the mail-in ballots, it's because of the pandemic. This is the first presidential election we will have ever held during a global pandemic. We need to maintain social distancing, we need to be wearing masks, and make sure we're adequately sanitizing polling places, etc. And a lot of people don't want to vote in person. Now, I will say, voting in person is still a really good option. There are going to be a lot of safe options to vote in person, and I think it's going to be at least as safe, if not more safe, than, for instance, going to the grocery store. And Dr. Fauci has confirmed that. So if you want to vote in person, especially early, that's still a very good way to vote. But mail voting is going to be expanded like we've never seen it before. In 2016, we saw about a quarter of all votes being cast being mail ballots. This year could be around half of all votes being cast being mail ballots. And we know from states that are doing a lot of mail voting, states like Washington, Oregon, Colorado, and California, that fraud is very rare in mail voting, just as fraud is very rare in in-person voting. It's not non-existent, but
I don't think there's going to be any fraud in the election, not at all.
very close to being non-existent. And voters should feel secure whether they choose to vote their ballot by mail, where there are a lot of checks and balances in place to make sure that every vote is validly cast, or if they choose to vote in person, where the same checks and balances are in place to make sure that only eligible voters vote and can only vote once.
I want to dig into that a little more, but before we do, I want to go back to something that you said because I had not heard it before, and I don't know how many people in the audience have actually heard that. But you said that in terms of the risk of transmission of this virus, voting in person would be somewhat analogous, if not safer, than going to the grocery store. Could you just kind of reiterate that, please?
Sure, especially if people plan. There's going to be options to vote early in person where you choose where you can go, where you can choose when you can go. And more, I'm helping advise LeBron James More Than a Vote initiative, which is helping to make sure that a lot of sports arenas are used, for instance, as early voting sites. There was just some announcement today in Philadelphia about the Philadelphia 76ers arena being used, and several other arenas all over the country, including in California, all the way across the country. So there are going to be a lot of great options to vote in places that are very large, where you can socially distant, where if you plan your activity, you can be in there less time than you would be in a grocery store. And unlike a grocery store where people might be milling about in aisles and you might be close to other people, all of the voting stations are going to be very far apart, farther apart than we've ever seen them before, to make sure people don't have any issues. And all poll workers are going to be wearing masks and have PPE. And similarly, voters are going to have masks available if they didn't bring them, and most will be wearing masks, of course. The equipment will all be disinfected. I've talked to election officials around the country. They are committed to making sure that those who choose to vote in person are going to have a safe experience. And you can maximize your chance of having a safe experience by planning and voting as early as possible.
So let's talk about those people who still, despite everything that you just said, which is reassuring to me, still decide to do.
All right, whatever. This shit's boring.
There's
Moving on. So that was like number 2. Number 3 is some haunted shit. All right, let's see what this is all about.
Cities hiding unimaginably dark secrets beneath their very streets to oceanside communities whose foundations are literally comprised of the dead. Are you ready for the most haunted beach towns of the Oregon coast? Number 5.
Fuck yeah, I'm ready.
Yachats is a small
Fuck
coastal
yeah.
resort village located within Lincoln County on the Oregon coast.
Throw something in the chat if you watching, yo.
That was labeled as one of 10 coolest small towns in the USA in a 2007 budget travel publication, as well as among the top 10 US up-and-coming destinations by virtual tourists. Astoundingly, archaeological evidence shows the area that holds Yachats has been
area
inhabited
that
by man
holds-
for at least 1,500
The area that holds.
years, possibly much longer, with the town itself initially being built atop seashell middens and graves
Yo,
left
my-
by
I just
past
realized my
inhabitants.
YouTube's live as
In
fuck, bro.
1855, to prepare for homesteading, many native inhabitants
This is what I
were
watch?
forced into the site of modern-day
This is what
Yachats.
entertains me on a
With the
daily
passing of the Dawes
basis?
Act in 1875,
What?
homesteaders began to trickle
Homesteaders. Yeah.
into the area. The first post office was established in 1892, with the community calling itself Ocean View. In 1914, the United States Forest Service cut a road into the cliff face surrounding Cape Perpetua, constructing a wooden crossing that spanned the Yachats River, while opening a travel route between Ocean View and Florence to the south. Ocean View was renamed as Yachats in 1917. In 1926, the wooden crossing
Shit
was
going on.
replaced by a steel bridge, and in 1931, the Cape Perpetua section of the Roosevelt Memorial Highway, now Highway 101, was officially opened. Today, Yachats is a
I know where
popular
that's at.
tourist destination and plays home to a wide range of plant and animal life, as well as some fun and fascinating shops, restaurants, and a brewery. During early construction of the city, as well as further construction of the highway, a number of skeletons and remains were unearthed. Some that were reburied, others that were built right over or even incorporated into foundations. All across town, local legend claims that night brings in the strange, and many report shadowy figures that prowl the streets. Full-bodied
I'm sorry, but this
apparitions
shit is not scary to me.
by the establishment of
Maybe
the
I'm
Coast
bugging.
Reservation in 1855, tragically, most of the Yakona's populace had been destroyed by disease and a series of violent forest fires. The area around Yaquina Bay opened to settlement in 1866, after which Sam Case, a former soldier on the Coast Reservation,
I'm excited about getting in the water this weekend, though.
northwest opening of the bay to construct the Ocean House, a hotel named in honor of his favorite Rhode Island hotel. As As land nearby quickly populated, Sam named his new settlement Newport for the Rhode Island town he loved. A post office was established in 1868. Yaquina Bay Lighthouse was opened in 1871, but only served briefly as it was replaced by the Yaquina Head Lighthouse in 1874. The town of Newport was officially incorporated
Okay, so I
in
see.
1882. In 1931, resulting from the Great Depression, the Federal Recovery
going
Act
on?
brought work to the area. Construction was started on the Yaquina Bay Bridge, the last link on the Oregon Coast Highway, and was completed in 1936, eliminating the need for a ferry to cross the river. In 1952, by way of popular vote, the county seat was moved from Toledo to Newport. The north side of the bay acts as both a working bayfront and a tourist attraction, offering boat docking, novelty shops, restaurants, commercial fishing and crabbing, markets, a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum, and much more. The most famous legend surrounding Newport stems from an 1899 Lishan M. Miller fictional story, The Haunted Lighthouse. In the story, one Muriel Trevenard was left in Newport by her sailor father because she was no good on deck. One day, she decides to join a group of tourists who visit the abandoned Yaquina Bay Lighthouse. When the group goes to leave, Muriel realizes she's forgotten her handkerchief inside and disappears into the light. A short time later, the group hears her scream. They run in to help, but find only a pool of blood and her handkerchief upstairs, with no sign of her body or of a killer. Although fictional, many claim the story of Muriel saved the Yaquina Bay Lighthouse, which is now the last standing wooden lighthouse on the Oregon coast. As the story picked up traction, many locals claimed it was based on real events, and to this day, many have cited the apparition of a young woman gazing from the light's windows when it's supposed to be empty. Also reported throughout the area is the ghost of one Captain Evan McClure, captain to a whaling ship that went down off the coast near the light in 1874. Many who have cited him report he quickly vanishes upon being noticed, but that they get the feeling he's still present, watching from just out of sight. The Yaquina Head Lighthouse, which is Oregon's tallest light at 93 feet, is surrounded by two separate ghost stories. The first tells of a construction worker who fell to his death and whose body became lodged within a double wall, never to be retrieved. The second tells that in 1921, an assistant lightkeeper died of a heart attack.
Alright, well,
which
that's
flooded
that.
the tower.
I'm already bored with that,
Scratching,
sorry.
sobbing, and knocking have been heard
What do we
emanating
got
from
next?
the light's walls, and the shadowy silhouette of a man has been sighted atop, gazing out to the horizon.
Okay.
Lastly, at the Sylvia
We got
Beach
some new
Hotel,
polls
which
in.
was opened in 1912,
Some breaking new
staff
polls, y'all.
and guests have reported unnatural cold spots in the middle of summer,
Some
shadowy
brand
figures
new
that appear in
polls.
guests' rooms at night, and a feeling of extreme unease that all
Sorry, that dude was just boring, yo. Let's see. Where'd it go? Come on.
Alright folks, so a whole new wave of polls have dropped. We're going to take a look at them because the narrative has been, it's shifting towards Trump. All this stuff, the RNC just concluded. He appeared to get a 2 to 4 point bump from the RNC. But it appears to be the case that he's now continuing to get destroyed, and the shift actually seems to be back towards Biden, which likely is probably because of maybe the RNC boost fading away,
Definitely the RNC boost fading away.
or maybe it's the riots that are actually going
People are actually consolidating their votes now, and like basically no one's undecided at this point.
against Trump. I don't know which one it is.
Except for me.
Maybe it's a mix of both. Who knows? But first off, an IBD TIPP poll came out, which has Biden +8, Biden 49%, Trump 41%. Okay, that's between August 29th and September 1st, so pretty recent. CNN also dropped a poll, Now, I don't like these polls really because I don't even know how you get 15 battleground states, but they have Biden plus 5 in these 15 battleground states, so take that for what you will, but I'm not really big on these kinds of combination polls. They're pretty misleading. This is a poll that I like a lot. This is a Quinnipiac poll. It has Biden up 10 on Trump, 52, Trump 42% national lead. So, what I like about this is when you sort of cross-reference what the results are, it seems to make sense. It's got among white voters, it's got Trump at 50%, Biden at 46%. Among black voters, it has Biden at 83, Trump at 11. And among Hispanics, it has Biden at 56 and Trump at 36. So these actually seem to make sense. An Emerson poll drop that made 0% sense. It had Trump's black support at like 19% or something higher like that. It had Biden dominating in the suburbs by 22 points, and it had Trump winning the cities, and none of that made any sense. And so when I look at that, I'm like, okay, your poll is dog shit. It's stupid. So I think a good way to sort of judge a poll is really to look at sort of the crosstabs of, all right, what exactly is it saying the results are based on demographics? You know, because some of them are just so ludicrous you can just toss them in the garbage. This makes sense. This is a very plausible thing. Hispanics are conservative, and Hispanics in the, you know, not all of them obviously, but there's a good chunk that are conservative. In addition to that, there's actually, you know, there was a sort of denial of Joe Biden in the primary, in the Democratic primary. Who did they choose? They chose Bernie Sanders. They didn't choose Joe Biden. They don't even like Joe Biden. So this definitely seems like it's this what's going to happen. And I said this a long time ago. I was like, people are going to be surprised with how much the Hispanic vote turns right this time, which is what's going to happen. I don't think the black vote will end up being as high as 11, but if it hits 11, I won't be like crazy surprised. Because he's done definitely a lot of
11% for the black vote is fucking crazy. You're telling me 11% of black people out there support Trump? That's crazy.
things, you know, pandering. So maybe, but that definitely seems to be something. This is really plausible result, I would say. Economist YouGov poll: Biden at 51, Trump at 40%. That's plus 11 lead. So these are all actual real pollsters. It's not Rasmussen, it's not Zogby, it's not Trafalgar Group or some right-wing dipshit organization. And what I noticed was post-RNC, there seemed to be actually seems to be back towards.
That's that. You get a piece of that. Piece of that on my page. Oh, I got some, it's pretty funny, Joe Budden share.
My good buddy, when you use your very powerful voice to shit on something that you just will never understand. Like Dame sat there and said to you, yo, if you're not funding your shit, we not having the same talk. I'm funding this. Charlemagne, you've been #1 10 years at iHeart, fucking mass media conglomerate, and you're just talking your network, but you're not paying for nothing. So what splits are you about to get? That's what Spotify said to me, Charlemagne. They said, hey, we want to participate in something that we're not building. And I said, no. I've never asked for anything. I've never asked for anything. There's been no negotiation because there's nothing to negotiate. I'm looking at how you treat people. What is there to discuss? I came here for information. This entire time you've been giving me information. You approached me 8 months into the joint. Hey, here's a new deal I want to fuck you in. We said no. They come back in December. They mad about it, no bonus, cool. The bonus is written in the contract. It's written there. Hey, if you hit this, you get this. Guess what? If the people making the rules change the goalposts, you don't get it. Charlemagne, you'll never know the true value of Breakfast Club when you're in a fucking multimedia conglomerate and they just gonna cross-collateralize everything in the universe. You never see a penny. Y'all just reading ads. Shut up! Stop interrupting me. I'm busy doing real shit that's gonna affect you. And when I say to you, hey, don't worry about it, I'ma show you, you just get defensive. What you mean? What you mean you're gonna show me? I got a network too. I know what you're doing. I know what's coming. I think you're stupid. I think your team don't know what's... Huh? We the two kings. I'm not talking about Rogan. He white. He don't know the fight. You know the fight. You're telling me about a white dude somewhere in a black king conversation. Do not be conditioned that way. December come. I'm trying to get you to see, never make some white person 9 figures so they can come and offer you jewelry. Pardon me. That's why I have the same watch.
Use jewelry.
Because I don't care.
Use jewelry.
They in a panic, Charlemagne. They don't know how to deal with us when we don't want no money. They just kept offering shit. Our negotiation period was June 1 to the end of June. Silence. It's nothing. Whatever they showed me, it was in July. Nigga, what you showing me? No. I don't need the money. You're not getting mall show. You're not getting nothing. No. I just seen what you did. I watched it. I was here to watch. They telling me that our business is bad. Well, I'll try to explain this to you in 10 minutes. The mistake that was made in music with the streaming, with inventing a new way to put shit out that you don't participate in, was not gonna happen in podcasting. Why do you think they aired that shit the other day? They shouldn't have aired that. That was hard. That was craziness. My shit says you can't edit our creative. That's important. All of the shit is in the creative. We gonna create it. They wanna participate. You can't edit this. That's 1. 2, the most important one is, hey, any ad put on this podcast has to be ran by who? Give it to me. You guessed it. Hey, some of y'all don't know. I say you guessed it when I'm not even giving you a chance to guess it. You'll never guess it. So I'm telling you, I'm just giving you the credit. It's like a courtesy. You guessed it. They gotta be ran by me. No, you can't come bring me Boost Mobile over however many episodes. No, you can't do
Twitch
that.
too.
Last podcast when I said Spotify never had a clear intention of that, because let me tell you, creators out there how this goes. All of the companies will sell you on their ad sales team. Oh my God. They will make them sound like Jesus.
That's in the business.
You're not gonna hit none of them fucking benchmarks. Are you kidding me? Nigga. Charlemagne, there was no way for us to know without going in the building that we're not paying attention to any one individual podcast. We are taking all of the numbers and we are presenting them, and that's what we're selling. I don't care about you as your one entity, no matter how great your numbers are. This is a whole, and we will distribute this as we see fit. Charlemagne, no, that's not in the contract, because it's their business.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna check on the sound.